So I'm at a very small ham swap on Saturday in Crockett, Texas. That's right, home of Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. Not a very big swap, but had a lot of fun, and I found something really, really cool. It is this right here. This just so happens to be a Vibroplex key. And when I saw the price they were asking, a mere $40, I knew I had to negotiate. But being that I don't need anything, I didn't bring much money with me to the swap. I had literally a $20 bill in my pocket, and that was it. And I managed to talk him down to $20 for this beautiful Vibroplex key. Now, I don't know much about keys. I do have a fascination with them, but this one just looked absolutely beautiful, so I had to have it. Does need a little bit of work though. It's starting to tarnish. The cable on the back here has most certainly seen better days. So we're gonna see what we can do to restore this. I did some digging online. These are still a current product. These retail for about $125. So my $20 investment plus $5 for a bottle of Brasso at my favorite hardware store, Ace Hardware. We're gonna get this guy back in shape. We're gonna fix up the cable and hopefully get this thing looking pretty. So let's do just that. So let's dive in. Let's get rid of this sticker here. And I actually wanna tackle this wiring first. It is sadly not the best wiring job I've seen in my days, so I'm just gonna unsolder everything. And look at the, I mean, just the, not trying to dog the guy who did this, but just solder blob city here on the ground side. If you guys don't have a solder sucker like this, you can grab these on Amazon. They're like, I don't know, $6 or $7. They're pretty inexpensive, but boy, are they helpful. See, no more solder. And that's the cord. I mean, it was just mangled, so we'll make that pretty. We'll make it prettier by doing one thing. Done. Now I want to take apart the key, remove all the brass, and it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on the bottom that'll remove these two and this guy. And then it looks like these are just held on by this Allen screw. So let's see if we can get into some trouble here, because I really want to see this thing sparkle. Okay, that was easy. Got some washers here, and we've even got a little pin inside here. That little guy. Okay, and then these come off, and another screw there. And we can also take off the actual paddle. So there's all the components for the right paddle, and we'll use our green POTA dish for the left, so we can try and stay organized. See that? Nice and shiny. That's what she's all gonna look like. That's the DA maker. That might not come all the way out. Yeah, that seems to be locked in there. So that's a bummer. We won't be able to take those all apart, but that's okay. We should be able to polish it nonetheless. Take off our dip maker. And I've got this silicone pad so I can place all my little components in there, but figured the paddles needed their own little jars. And then all right. Now we can tackle this. How many other people's OCD is this driving nuts? We may or may not be able to get that off. There we are. See if we can just square that up. All right, it's already 100% better. Get some mild cleaner here. This is just a mixture of a product called Awesome and water. Just to get some of the, it's really just dusty, this. It's actually not in bad condition at all. It's in quite good condition. So we just want to clean it off a little bit. That should be good. Now the fun part. We get to turn tarnished old brass. I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's going to be all beautiful and shiny. A little bit of Brasso and a cloth from my other favorite store, Harbor Freight. These are their microfiber cloths. It stinks to high heaven, but boy does it work good. So let's start with the left side here. And we just polish away. So maybe I will insert an awesome polishing montage here. Now all of our brass cleaning is done. Just time to put a little spit shine. These are just little plastic jobbies, so I'm just gonna use some more of that Awesome and a paper towel. There's just kind of stuff on it. Tidy these up real quick. Let's see, there's just gunk on them. Spray them down real quick. Now, let's see if we can remember how to put this back together properly, and then we will resolder all of our connections. And after some fussing, I learned that this little screw that goes in here and this nut need to be adjusted so you can get some good spacing with this guy. And also this magnet here is what pulls the paddle back, and I had to adjust this a little bit, but now I think I've got some nice, perfect action there. So hopefully we can do that to the other side. So you can move this screw in and out just with your fingers. So I'm going to move it out a little bit. This one seems to be a little tighter than the other side, so we can put the nut on. The problem is when you put the nut on, the screw wants to turn back in too. So I just use some tweezers to hold it to prevent the screw from turning while I put the nut on, and then you can kind of just gently screw the nut on. And I've learned from previous times doing this on another key, be very careful screwing into the brass because it's so soft. It's very, very easy to strip. That might actually be pretty good. Hey now! So now this one has a little bit too much pull. So I've got to take this off and tighten that screw in to get a little bit bigger gap there. And that's how you can adjust basically the tension, because these are magnets. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better. Now all we have to do is resolder the wire back on. This wire was like 7 feet long, so I cut it down quite a bit. We'll just strip off some of the jacket. And I cut this too long just so I can trim them to where they need to be. I wish I had some kind of retention for this though. Perhaps I'll put one on later. That'll work. And I'll just clean off the excess flux with a little rubbing alcohol. And now our key is complete. And just look at how absolutely beautiful this is now. My gosh. And here we can see a side by side of before and after. I think that time certainly paid off for this $20 key that is retail $125. That is awesome. But now let's see how it works. Here we go. I'm not actually transmitting. Man, it's like butter. This key is awesome. I'm really happy, and now it is beautiful, and it is gonna sit right here. So anytime any of my friends are doing Parks on the Air on CW, I can actually work them on a paddle, because I have a straight key right here. That's awesome. Guys, thanks so much for watching. My name is Mike K, and I'm Marty. This is Ham Radio 2. We'll see you next time, 73.